What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the call, the newcomers, everyone watching online on IG Live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the call today. So excited to have another Growing Grossi call, man. So excited for Tuesdays. Tuesdays are one of these events that just make me so happy. It makes me so happy because I love to share. I love to make a difference. I love to make a difference in this world, and I love to just share any knowledge I might have or anything that's going on. I love to try to make a difference. One of my biggest goals in life is to make the greatest impact in life, whether it's through dentistry, whether it's through fatherhood, whether it's through being a great husband, whether it's just being a great human being. So thumbs up, guys, if you are just in the business to make a difference. So awesome. Awesome. So my intention in all these calls like they are all the time is to give you everything that I'm doing, show you what I do every single day on a consistent basis. Even yesterday, when I had an hour and a half of sleep, how to truly show up in life, how to truly make a difference, not only in your life, but somebody else's life. You know, my brother-in-law came over last night at 8:30 at night. You know, you need these people in your life that are going to help you, that are going to always step up when you need someone to step up. They're going to be there and show up. The biggest thing in life is show up. And so this is going to apply whether you're and aspiring to be a new dentist, or you're in the dental school, or you want to jump in the entrepreneur world, or you want to have an active practice and thriving practice. If you're trying to grow as a human, whether you're retiring in a dentist and you're looking for what comes next. And we all want to know what comes next, whether just a person just trying to survive. These calls are meant to define the game you want to play. So my hope is that you take away all the tips, some of the tricks and everything that I do, and start implementing in your life. Start implementing them today. And if for some of you that don't know me, watch me for the very first time, I'm Dr. Bobby Grossi, born and raised in Flint, Michigan. I had a beautiful mother named Linda. I have a beautiful stepfather. I call my father named Bob Hale. I got born and raised and knowing what it's like to struggle with money. This call is so important to me because I think in this world, even more than ever, we need to know how to manage money. And the one thing we don't talk about in school is finances. We don't talk about how to truly thrive. And like I said, born and raised in Flint, Michigan, with a single mom who only made $18,000 a year. We struggled. I mean, we robbed Peter to pay Paul, if you will. And we've all heard that phrase. We have kind of we survived. And we talked about this in the past of how to we don't want to survive anymore. We don't want to survive. We want to thrive. And so the message today, when I talk about how to manage your money, it is, how can you truly thrive? How can you truly become the best version of yourself and create a legacy that you'd be proud of? So mastering money management is crucial. It's so crucial that it's the only way you can possibly achieve your brighter financial future. That's what we want. Let's be honest. We work, why? So that we can pay our bills, so that we can have an income, so that we can make a difference in this world, so that we can give to our church community, so that we can go on vacations. This is why we have to manage our money and master it. I mean, most of the time it's out of irresponsibility or a lack of stewardship is why we fail. But this is about how to master your money, how to truly master. Here are some practical steps and strategies that I want you to do that are going to help you take control of your finances. Like, enough talk, Dr. G. Like, how are you going to help me really thrive? How are you going to help me achieve my goals? How are you going to help me to budget, save, invest, and even reduce my debt? Like, what can you do? So I always say the number one power somebody could ever give anybody is changing their pocketbook. Truly. How do you get people to follow you? By changing their pocketbook. You get employees to work for you by giving them an hourly wage. You give them money. There needs to be some exchange. So to me, if I can change the way you look at your life, if I can change the way and set you up for financial success, you will think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not, but my job is I just want to change your life. Thumbs up if we're ready for this. Thumbs up, we're ready really to dive in to some of the examples. Awesome. Whether Vinny's on the call and Guy's on the call and Mohit and Dario. I mean, this call is going to be life changing. Bob's on the call. Love seeing you, Bob. Nice seeing you, baby. We got all these other people on the call that are live watching us that might not be able to respond, right? First thing you got to do, let's just break things down in little small chunks. What are your short-term goals? And what do you mean by short-term goals? What are you going to do in 1 year? Guys, I have so much content on here. I'm going to hope to get through it in this 30 minutes. We might have to do part 2 next week. Sorry. But what are your short-term goals? Like, literally write down, what is the 1 year plan? Whether it's creating an emergency fund, whether it's paying off high interest debt, saving for a vacation, or build a budget. So when I talk about high interest debt, like what I tell everybody, even in dentistry and business, take your high interest debt. Right now, they're probably really high in the United States. Interest rates are through the roof. Hopefully you have debt that was a few years ago. We're not going to mention the president, but a few years ago when the interest rate was low. But the reality of it is pay off your high interest first. So my rule of thumb is with the interest of debt is I'll take my top 10 things that are I have debt on, top 10 things, and I'll rank them. And what is the one I must pay off first? Because the one that's killing me, like everyone says, well, why don't you pay off your student loans, Dr. G? Well, my interest rate on my student loans are 1%. Yes, I owe $100,000. I get it. I owe $100,000 left on my student loans, but at 1%, who cares? It's virtually interest free. So if I had another bill, a credit card, we'll say that had $10,000 on it, but it's earning 10% interest a year, 20%, you're going to pay that one off way sooner. So always look at your debt, short-term goals, emergency funds, create them. What are your long-term goals? What are your several years or more? Like when you think of long-term, what's your long-term plan for 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years? That's when you start talking about, are you going to purchase a home? Are you going to plan for retirement? In our country, we have the 401k plan. Are you going to do a Roth IRA? Like, are you going to invest into real estate? Like, what are your long-term plans to help you with finances? Are you going to pay off your mortgage payment? I would argue if you have $500,000 and you have a 3% or 4% interest rate on your mortgage, I would argue, why would you take the $500,000 to pay on that? It goes back to problem number one. What's your high interest debt? Or could you ready for this? This is just a hack. And I know this is not a finance lesson, but maybe it should be. Could you take that $500,000 instead of paying off your house and earn interest somewhere else? Could you earn 10% of your money? Could you invest it into real estate, whether it's with Grant Cardone or Richie Doans of the world or whoever it is? Could you and buy apartment complexes that are going to give you an 8 to 9 to 10% return? The answer to the question is yes. So when people always tell me, I know Dave Ramsey says, get out of debt, blah, blah, blah. Not all debt is bad. Not all debt is bad. So if you can use money as leverage, if you can use debt as leverage, or you can have a big cash flow of money and you could use it to get better interest rates, well, now that's using money wisely. So it's not always about paying off a mortgage. Pay off your mortgage if it makes sense. If anything, invest for your financial growth. That's long-term planning, investing for your financial growth. And that's where most people nowadays miss the boat. They don't invest. They don't invest because they don't have enough money to invest. They don't invest because they're surviving, not thriving. They don't invest because they just want to work the 40 hours a day. They don't have a plan. But another time for investment. But when you set your goals, make sure we talked about this. Make sure the goals are SMART. And what does SMART mean again? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Write them down regularly. Review them regularly. Adjust as needed. Find what direction you want to go on. Stay motivated. What is your financial journey? What does it want to be? My financial journey has changed totally in the last 2-3 years. It's changed tremendously. Things that I never thought were possible became possible. Why? Because I just started somewhere. We talked about showing up. I just talked about showing up in a little ago. Sometimes by just showing up, you're starting. You're not stopping. Hour and a half of sleep, not an hour and a half of sleep, 2 hours of sleep, whatever it is, you got to show up. And when you know what your short-term goals are and your long-term goals, another thing, now you got to create the budget. Create the budget that you're comfortable working with, tracking it. What are your income? What are your expenses? I call it the burn rate. People call it expenses. I call it burn rate. What does burn rate mean? It means how fast are you burning through your money? Are you burning more than's coming in? Like, is there a lot of fire going out and not enough water coming in? You're going to have a problem, right? Think about that. You're going to have a problem. Right. So if you're burning more of your expenses than income, there's your problem. And remember, you're competing against Parkinson's law. And we talked about this. What's Parkinson's law? And that's why you don't understand how millionaires can go broke, Mohit. How did millionaires go broke, Mario, Vinny, Renee, Guy? Because they're working against Parkinson's law. They're not working with it. Parkinson's law states that your expenses will always rise to meet your income. So you got to work against that law. It's a law. It's a fact. So you got to work against that. So categorize your expenses. What are your essentials to create a budget? This is the things. There's 7 things. 7 things I want you to do. You might want to write these down. And if you got a pen and paper, and if you can, write these down. If not, go back and watch the recording. 7 things you need to do to create a budget. Number 1, list all your sources of income. And we know that you need passive income to truly create wealth. We all survive on a 9-to-5 job. We get that. But truly to become wealthy, we need multiple streams of income. So Grant Cardone talks about the 7 streams of income. Look at, I don't care if it's, you got a daytime job and you want to do a side hustle. Create, what are your sources of income? We got to document that. So we got to know what's our starting point. What are we going to work with? And then we just got to know what it is. If it's one source, sweet. How do we maximize that one source? Thumbs up if this tracking so far. Number 2, categorize your expenses into essential and non-essential. And this is where most people, you need to circle number 2, including myself. Most people spend more money on non-essential stuff than they do essential stuff. They're trying to seek things out as if it's buying their happiness. Their happiness is externally, not internally. So we all do it. We want the new Jordans. We want the new car. We want the new flashy thing. And I've done it when I first earned my money. When I first became from $18,000 a year to making 6-7 figures, the reality of it is I just spent money because I wanted to feel good about myself. That's why you see people all the time in Louis Vuitton or Gucci or whatever it is, Versace, that really have no business buying the clothes because they focus more on the non-essential stuff. So number 3, set realistic spending limits for each category. Like, what are they? It's okay to have things that are non-essential, but if you can set that limit, what is it? Is it 5% of your money, 10%? Is it $100? What is it? Number 4, allocate money for savings and debt repayment. You need to allocate this. If you want to pay off debt, you need to have a bucket that allows you to pay off debt. You need to allocate money for savings because Guy in the world and other people on this call that want to truly get into the investment world. I said Guy because I know that's what he wants. It's no different than when you save for a 401k in our United States for the first time. I know I'm talking to people across the country right now, but in our country, we have a 401k. And I remember them saying to us that you could put up to 10% of your money into a 401k. And at first you're like, I can't lose 10% of my income. But then what you do is you just put it on autopilot and pretty soon you function on 90% and you don't even think twice about the 401k. That's how it has to be when you're creating a savings system and an investment system. You need to take a chunk and just throw it away like autopilot. When I paid off my bills in dentistry, when I become really debt free, I just started putting in a separate bank account money every single day, whether it's $200, $100, $50, even on your debt allocation. When you want to pay off debt, if you have a credit card payment of $100, or let's say you owe, $1,000 on a credit card, you need to ask yourself this question. Number 1, can I pay $100 today? If the answer is yes, pay the $100. You need to ask yourself the question, can I pay $1,000? You pay everything you can until you hear the word no on every debt. That is the quickest way to get out of debt. And you strike them off the list. You write your top 10 out. Consider using budgeting tools or apps. That's another way to create a budget. Review and adjust your budget regularly. Like you got to, guys, sometimes it changes. Sometimes you might buy a new house, you might not buy a new car, right? Number 5 is consider using a budget. Number 6 is review and adjust your budget regularly. And number 7, the last thing is be flexible and adapt to changes in your financial situation. You got to adapt to them, right? So that's how you create a budget. Those are the top 7 things to create a budget. But then, thirdly, you got to track your expenses, guys. You need to know and track your expenses. And you're going to say, well, dude, how do you track expenses? Like, dude, what do you do? Just look at a bank account? Like, are you looking at systems all the time? Guys, there's spreadsheets, personal financial software out there. There's a lot of things. What are your spending habits? It'll give you the insights. It'll break you down. Like with the AI world we live in, there are so many things you can use to track your expenses. Number 1, there's going to be 7 things I'm going to mention. So like I said, this is so important, guys. If you don't know this, write this stuff down. Okay. Number 1, tracking your expenses. Use smartphones, spreadsheets, apps, personal financial software. Track your expenses. Number 2, record all your expenses, including every small purchase. So what we're going to do in expenses and in income right now, we do this when we want to lose weight. It cracks me up. We do this when we want to lose weight. We will track our calories. We'll track our macros. We'll track our micros. We'll do all this stuff. We'll know exactly what we put in our body and what comes out. We'll know how many of our burn rate of calories there is versus of the calories coming out. We'll go, hey, we ate 2,000 calories a day and we burned 600 or 700 or 2,600. We'll know that. But yeah, when it comes to our expenses, we don't track it. It's humorous to me. And then they wonder why people don't know where it's at. You must always know. You must look at it every single day. I mean, the minute you wake up, what's your bank account say? Because somebody could say they're a millionaire, and the first thing I say is, show me your bank account. Show me what it looks like. You might make $1 million, don't mean you have $1 million. So remember, you got to work against law. So record your expenses. Hold yourself accountable. Look at that every day. That's your true scorecard. Categorize expenses into understand your spending patterns. What is it? What is it that if you truly want to get control of your finances, what is it that you're making a mistake of? And if somebody says to me, oh, it's my spouse's fault or it's my kid's fault, that's garbage. You're in direct control of your spending. I joke around a lot about it, but I mean, it's still if it's my money and I give my money out, it's on me. I take responsibility. But what are your habits? What do you buy more? Are you buying essential stuff or non-essential stuff? Are you buying things you truly need? Or you're buying things you're not need? Number 4, regularly review your spending areas that you can cut back on. What areas, if you truly want to invest and save, where can you cut back? When you say, I said this to the person the other day, they said to me, I don't have enough money for dentistry. They say that to me all the time. I don't have dental benefits. So I always laugh when I hear that. I'm like, you might not have dental benefits. You're absolutely correct. And I'm a dentist, so I'm going to use a dental analogy. You're absolutely correct. You might not. But let me ask you this question. How much does a cleaning cost? 2 cleanings a year with x-rays. How much do you think it costs? And the reality of it is nobody knows. It's just under $300 in where I'm at. $300 for 2 cleanings a year plus x-rays. So for less than $1 a day, people can have full service dental care with where I'm at if they just need cleanings and x-rays. But yet they'll say they don't have the money. Well, I would argue this. How much is that Starbucks coffee you're buying? How much are those cigarettes that you're buying? How much is those energy drinks that you buy every single day? If you truly look at bottled water that you buy, people bitch about a gallon of gas, which cracks me up, which might be $3 to $4 a day. A gallon of water probably costs most people $50,000 or $50. Think about that. $3 for a bottle of water, $2 in some areas. You buy a gallon of that, it's $40 to $50. I got a question. I'm not blaming on water because I'm from Flint. That's not a joke. Sometimes you got to buy a bottle of water. I'm just saying, what's happening, guys? Where could you cut your spendings and your regular expenses to cut back so that you have that money to invest? Think about that. If you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, or you drink 2 coffees a day, take that $7 that you have and just drink 1 coffee. Look for areas that you could always cut back on. Number 5, set budget targets and adjust as needed. What are my budget targets? What am I trying to accomplish? What is it that I want to save? What is it? Well, look for, and number 6, look for opportunities to save and find cheaper alternatives. I didn't say live cheap. Find ways to adjust it. How could you do it differently? How can you save some money? And then maintain consistency. Always track what you do. Always track what you do. Track your expenses for an accurate picture of your finances. You must know where you stand. It's no different when you're talking about losing weight and you get on the scale and you think you're burning more calories than it's bringing in, and you think you're eating properly, and you jump on the scale, or you take the tape measurement and you put it around your waist and you measure your gut and go, oh man, I didn't lose an inch and I gained 2 pounds. Hey, you're off. It's okay. Don't freak out about it. You're off. Adjust and pivot. Number 4, save and invest. You need to save portions of your money and your income and establish the emergency fund to save and invest. You have to. This is the most crucial thing. And most people want to jump into investing way before they should. And we're going to talk about when to jump in investing versus when to save. But there's 7 things. If you notice, there's 7 things I've been telling you. So if you have a pen and paper, write these down. That'll be in the chat. Watch the recording. Do whatever you want. Number 1, when you're talking about save and investing wisely. You're on. Thank you. Number 1, prioritize regular savings. Aim for 10 to 20% of your income. 10 to 20% is no different than what I talked about the 401k earlier. If you can save 10 to 20% of your income, you are on the right path. I didn't say everything, man. Think of it as like a church. The Bible states, and I love the Bible and I love Christ and I love everything about it. So if I offend you, I apologize. Go ahead and jump off because I worship Jesus. But the reality of it is it says you should give 10% of your income. Fine. I would also argue give at least 10 to 20% of your income to yourself. Pay yourself first. 10 to 20% of your money needs to just go in savings. You're going to build it. You're going to save it to invest. Once you get to the 10 to the 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, 60, maybe $100,000 range, then you're ready to invest, but we'll go on another tangent on that. Number two, build an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And you might say that's impossible. It's not. So there goes, remember what I said earlier? Do not invest money until you have enough to invest. So number two really should be number one, but it's okay. It starts by saving and investing. Do not invest money until you know you have enough money where you can live 3 to 6 months if you had a job or not. Why do you say that? Because stuff happens, stuff way out of our control. You could lose your job tomorrow. You could become handicapped. There are things that can happen. You need to have a buffer. You need to have a buffer. It eliminates the stress. It's no different than in dentistry. I always have a buffer. I talked about paying, at least having enough to cover 2 months worth of payroll or 1 month worth of payroll. I talk about this all the time. Emergency funds, emergency funds, emergency funds. Number three, explore investment options based on your goals and risk tolerance. Once you have enough saves, every 10 to 20% of your money, then you build your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months. Now you can invest. Now you can invest in options and your goals that are risk tolerant. You know what risk you want to take. I'm a risky guy. I'm a risky guy. I'll take risk. But you know, you don't take risk, you don't grow. It's true. You don't take, that's why entrepreneurs are the gutsiest people in the world. Everything is on their shoulders. I know people that have made $15 million and then 2 years later went bankrupt because they didn't follow these tactics. But understand the relationship between your risk. Number four, understand the relationship between risk and return. You need to understand that. You need to respect it because there's a risk and there's a reward in everything you do. Number five, consider consulting a financial advisor for personal advice. It was no different. I consulted Richie Dolan the other day. We live in the United States. We heard a lot of things going on. We hear about what's going on with our economy, what's going on with our system, our banking institution, because banking industries are closing. We've heard about Fed Now acts, and we're figuring this out. Like, do we have control over money? Do we not? What are our assets? What are we going to do? I also put the faith in the Lord, Vienna. I absolutely put the faith in the Lord. What do you do? So do you create trust funds? Do you not seek advice from people that know what they're doing? Sometimes it might be people outside this country, but seek advice from people. The most important thing you can do is seek advice. Seek the right advice, right? Don't seek advice just from people that get 1% of your money. No, seek the advice from people that you trust. 6, stay informed and monitor your investment regularly. You got to stay informed. You got to know what's going on. You need to know what's going on in the financial world. 7, contribute to retirement accounts for long-term security. That's the safe way. That's what people have always been taught. But understand, I would argue the retirement funds are also controlled by people outside of your source, and you have barriers. You can't pull it out till you're 60. You can't do this. You can't do that. I'm a guy that I put a little bit in retirement funds, but I like more in investing, long-term investments, whether it's getting 15 to 20% gains. You don't think it's possible this time? It absolutely it is. Okay. And then we want to reduce our debt. How do you truly reduce our debt? What are the strategies we can put into place to reduce our debts? I'm going to give you 5 strategies to reduce your debt. I know I'm going through this fast. I'm trying to give you so much content. It's only 30 minutes because I want to respect time. If I go a little bit longer today, I apologize. But number 5, how do you reduce your debt? That is the magic question. How do you become debt-free? Prioritize high-interest debts and make minimum payments on others. Number 1, if you have a high-interest debt, whatever it is, pay that son of a gun off first. That's what's killing you. Because that extra money that you're kicking the can, don't pay bare minimum, man. Pay the stuff off. I have credit cards all the time. I'll tell every single person in this world, do not spend money on a debit card. It is the dumbest thing you can do in this economy. It does nothing for you. It is the biggest lie of all lies to the banking industry. They take fees regardless, and it does nothing. It doesn't build credit. It doesn't establish anything for you. It just takes from you. So if it has a stupid Visa or MasterCard logo on it, it's not doing anything for you. If you have children from 18 years old or under or above, and you can give them established credit, tell them to get a credit card. Get something that earns you money back, whether it's 2% cash back, you see commercials, whether it's Delta Flyer miles, whether it's Marriott points, whatever it is, use credit card. And then that's one thing way to budget. If you want to have expensive, let's just say non-essential expenses, and you put a budget of $1,000 a month, put a cap on the credit card for $1,000 and just make sure you pay it off. Because all you're going to do is you're going to have this, you'll never pay interest on it. You can borrow the bank's money, leverage, good debt. You get the thing today. You're establishing good rapport with your credit scores, and then you're paying it off. You're in direct control over the budget. You never mess up. even when you go to casinos, if you think about it, and I know I'm talking about casinos, the people that lose in casinos are not the ones that can control their spending. It's the ones that think they're going to get rich by going to the casino. You can have fun. If you think of casino as an entertainment, you go with $200 and that's it, and you lose $200, you're good. You're good. You accomplish everything you're looking for. You got a night of entertainment and you're good. You could also win. But at the end of the day, put a cap on things. Number two, create a repayment plan or structure based on your budget and financing. If you're in business and you have certain loans you want to pay off, prioritize the ones that are the highest interest rate and pay them off first. I don't care if it takes 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. Pay the high interest ones off first. Explore debt consolidation. How can you refine those things? I've done this before in dentistry 1,000 times. When my real estate, which is in my dental practice, has enough equity and I was paying high interest rates on some of my loans, my equity, which is my building, which was only 3%, I embodied that, took all that in because I had equity in there, absorbed all my other debts. Now I have one payment. I simplified the system, still the same debt, but actually it's cheaper. And I'll explain why. I've lowered my interest rate. So if I owed $70,000 on an 8% interest rate, but I owe $70,000 on a 3% interest rate, I'm making more money every year. I'm saving money. I can use that other 4 or 5% that I was using and go invest it if I wanted to, or I can just pay it off sooner. Cut your expenses. Number 4, cut your expenses and increase your income to free up more money and debt repayment. That's how you free up money. Consolidation will help you stay. And then 5th, you just got to stay committed. You need to stay committed and track your progress, period of the story. You must stay committed. Life is nothing but staying committed. The 6th thing I want to talk about, and this is where everybody fails, is we don't live within our means. We truly just don't live within our means. And we're all guilty of it. And so you got to find out what your means are. That's the definition. Quit living outside to impress other people. Pay the price now to have the reward later. Pay the price now to truly thrive later. Stay disciplined now so that 5 years from now you can do that. People always say, what made you a dentist? How did you become successful? I'm not smart. You want to know the difference? The sacrifice I was willing to pay through education and not making money to go pursue the dream I've always wanted. Stay committed. I lived within my means, even below my means, to become where I am today. So differentiate between needs and wants. Number 1, there's 6 things to live within your means. What are your needs? What are your wants? What are your needs? What are your wants? Right? Number 2, create and just stick to the budget. This is my budget. This is what I'm going to do. You need to stay committed and stick to it. Number 2. 3, cut back on every single thing of non-essential expenses. Cut back. If you don't need it, if you want something, now this is the thing, man, I don't do that. I'm kind of an impulse spender still at times, especially when my kids need it or my wife needs it. I'll get whatever I want. Now me, different conversation. My philosophy with my kids and my wife is I'll create more revenue. I don't have a scarcity mindset when it comes to money. I think of an abundance, but you got to cut back the things you don't need. Ask yourself the question, wait 1 week before you make an impulse purchase. And that was another thing. Number 4, avoid impulse purchases and buying, be mindful of your spending. That's number 4, but avoid them. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this something I'm going to need? Is this really going to make a difference in my life? Should I buy this or should I prioritize? Number 5 is prioritize saving for the future. Should I really save? Would I rather just use this to save for my future? These are questions you got to ask yourself every single day. 6 is just seek financial education to make the proper informed decisions, right? So you also, at times when you have this, you need to review and adjust all your finances. Review them regularly. Number 1, there's 6 things. Review them regularly. Review your budget and what is your financial progress. It's no different. You want to make sure you're making progress. You're getting closer to than further away. Closer to your financial goals that you want than further away. 2, assess changes in your income, expenses, goals. Are you getting multiple sources of incomes? Have you changed your goals? Are there different goal strategies you want? What are your expenses? 3, make necessary adjustments to your budget and financial plan. 4, identify areas that you need to improve and find ways to optimize your finances. 5, stay flexible and adapt to changes in all your circumstances. And then 6, consider seeking professional advice as needed. If you notice this, I'm always saying seek professional advice. Guys, at the end of the day, the last thing you need to do If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to manage money, if you're truly struggling, seek professional advice. Number one, provide personalized guidance based on what is your unique situation. What are people don't like they have lack of money. I agree with you. They don't want to admit it, but it's true. You need to be clear with where you're at. What is your clear picture? Anybody to help you need to be clear. You need to know exactly where you're at. What does it look like? What is your financial situation? Quit worrying about what people think. This is about you. This is about getting your finances right, not mine. My requirements and goals are totally different than yours. Number two, get expert knowledge in various areas of your personal finances. Find what helps. Provide perspectives, both emotionally. What is your decision making? Tell them your patterns. Save your time and effort by handling research and analysis. Look at things like dive in. Provide access to networks, whatever it is. I mean, they can give you so much stuff. Financial people can give you so much insight that you never thought. Pray about it. You don't need to pray. You know what? Somebody says pray about it. Absolutely pray about it. Pray for the seek and guidance to do the right thing. Pray that you have the knowledge and wisdom to control your finances. Pray that you have the wherewithal to adjust when need to be. Pray that you have the ability when you make resistance to make the proper change to pivot to go the different direction. That's what I'd pray about. And God will send you that answer. When you want to achieve your financial stability and you want to truly secure the brighter future, it requires a day-to-day commitment and principles. If you follow these steps, if you truly follow what I just laid out to you, and if you had the time to write it down, if you truly do, it'll help you manage your money. And it'll help you have an ongoing process and discipline and demands and dedication that will change your life. Don't forget to regularly review where you're at, adjust your financial plan, stay true to your goals, seek wise wealth advice from people and opportunities that have been there, reveal the peace of mind. Just have the peace of mind that knowing I'm following this discipline. I've never met anybody in my life that truly wants to stay the course and stays disciplined that can have financial growth and success. And please, man, please ensure. I want to know that you're tracking. I want to know that you're going to ensure your progress. I want to know that you're staying the course. I'm responsible for keeping you accountable. Tell me your progress. Where are you at? What do you need help on? Just email me at the info@thedentistco.com. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. Tell me how I can help. Tell me that these calls are making a difference to you and making an impact and changing your life. And I'm really excited to hear about where we started almost 18 weeks ago to where we're at today. Might be longer than that, almost a half a year. I need to know, are these calls, everybody with a thumbs up or a heart, are they making a difference for you? Thank you. Thank you so much for commenting that they make a difference, because they make a difference for me. You make me show up every single day. You make me stay committed every single day to try to give you content, to do things and live life according to where I want to be. You hold me accountable. Because who am I to teach you if I'm not going through the journey? It's no different. I always joke about when a priest tries to tell me, Catholic priest tries to tell me how to be married, but they can't have a wife. They try to tell me how to raise kids, but they can't have children. I'm not bashing Catholic priests. I just won't take advice from people that have never been there. Take advice from people that are where you want to go. I always coin the phrase, be the small fish in a big pond, not a big fish in a small pond. Remember that. Be the lab rat that wants to learn. Be honest with where you're at, whether it's with your weight, whether it's with your finances, whether it's with your health, whether it's just with your own personality. Who are you today? I'm interested. I want to know where you want to go. Tell me who you are today at the info dentist. Email me at the info@thedentistco and where you want to go. And come next week, we're going to dial in your life partner. You're like, what? Your life partner? I'm talking about your life partner. Like who do you need to be hanging around with? What do you need to do? Guys, much love. I know this call went longer. For IG Live, people staying on tone, thank you so much. For people on YouTube, FaceTime, Leaguebook, and live stuff, and watching the recording, thank you for staying with this longer call. Sorry I went over today, but I hope you gained a lot of knowledge. Much love. We'll talk soon. Have a great day, guys. Have a blessed day.